Around Halloween time, which is about now, people love to celebrate it in their own way. Some go trick-or-treating, go to parties, go to a haunted house, and so on. One very common trend is to watch scary movies all month long. Some classics like Halloween, or more recent ones like The Conjuring, there's a whole genre of movies to dig into. Personally, I love watching the classic Universal monster movies. And you are probably thinking, what the hell's that? Sadly, I have been perfectly aware that I'm one of the few people in my generation that watches these movies around Halloween time, but has ever seen them. So let me give you a few reasons why that is the case, but please listen later on to why you should give them a try. The common reason why many young people don't watch these movies is because they think they're too old. That's the dumbest reason to not experience anything. Do you think that anyone thinks the Mona Lisa is passable because it's a few hundred years old? Do you think anyone gives two craps if the Great Wall of China is any good or not if it's over 1,000 years old? Saying that they're too old is a dumb reason. It's not like you have to sleep with them or anything. These movies are as old as The Wizard of Oz and some Disney animated movies, and people love watching those, so why not these? I think that one big culprit and why people may not be aware of these movies are cable channels like AMC. Every October, what do they play? Friday the 13th Part 8, or Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, or one of the awful Halloween sequels. If you're not gonna show someone a movie, then how are people even gonna know if they like it or not if you're not even gonna give them the option to experience it in the first place? I think that Universal Studios shares some guilt. It's definitely a bit of a shocking accusation, but think about it. They might have a restaurant at Universal Studios theme park, but they do not have any rides, characters dressed up as them, or even penny pressed coins of them anymore. Recently, they have announced they made plans to make a cinematic universe like Marvel and DC. People are saying that they are copying what they are doing, but that is completely wrong. Before Batman vs Superman, The Avengers, Alien vs Predator, Freddy vs Jason, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and King Kong vs Godzilla, Universal Studios had Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. They were the first to make a cinematic universe movie almost 80 years ago. And there were many others that would follow, such as House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, and Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. But the main reason why they died out was because they were making less and less money. In addition, people thought that the nuclear bomb was a lot more scary, which made sense why the next decade would feature a lot of monsters created by nuclear energy in one way, shape, or form. Technically, Universal Studios could have had another cinematic universe 10 years ago. Movies like The Mummy and Van Helsing were not just written and directed by Stephen Sommers, but they were produced by Universal Studios. I could easily see Hugh Jackman's character and Brendan Fraser's character teaming up in a movie, but that idea never came up. It didn't help that Tomb of the Dragon Emperor was awful, and the final nail in the coffin was the financial failure known as The Wolfman from 2010. Because of reshoots, the writer's strike, and a switch of directors, this movie cost $150 million, making it the most expensive horror movie ever. But hopefully they will learn from their mistakes. They are also aware that many people nowadays are not very familiar with these films, so it makes sense why they're seeking out A-list actors to be in their new cinematic universe. So now here comes the part why you should give these movies a chance. These movies are not just some of the best that the horror genre has to offer, but they have been such a big influence on horror movies now. Movies like It Follows, The Conjuring, Insidious, and The Babadook have used traits found in these movies. The main thing in order to scare someone more easily is to create an unsettling atmosphere. That way they're more uneasy and they know what to be afraid of. Every time I watch It Follows, I am reminded of that scene from Dracula when Lucy as a vampire is walking by herself at night. Seeing a figure walking slowly with sinister intentions is far more scary than just some cheap jump scare. In addition, a lot of the chilling cinematography in some of James Wong's movies are very similar to The Mummy, Dracula, and Frankenstein. I wouldn't be surprised if James Wan has seen any of these movies and taken notes from them. Genres and film is an art that has evolved and still is evolving. Overlooking these kinds of movies is like taking movies like Halloween, Night of the Living Dead, and The Exorcist for granted. These movies are not just only scary and have great cinematography, but they have top-notch acting. People like Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney Jr., Claude Rains, and even Dwight Frye, an actor that only got small roles, is fantastic.
Rats. Rats. Thousands. Millions of them.
So sometime take a look at some of these films. They are definitely not that long, and just please watch what you might be missing out on. So anyway, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe.